All right. Let me pray for us. We pray right now that this time would be a fruitful time together in this Zoom room, and God, we just lift this up to you this whole trip. And I know, having been to Honduras last year, that you're going to do amazing things in the lives of every person who was on this call and on this team, regardless of any of the pressure we may be getting or any of the stress we might be carrying, wondering if we can raise the money or wondering if we really have the time to do this. God, I pray against any attacks of the enemy that you would just help us to focus on you, Jesus, and your call to reach every person in every part of this world and the role that we have in your mission, and help us to learn and grow together and to have patience with each other right from the get-go here, and some excitement for this adventure. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 All right.
Amen. Amen.
I want to go ahead and welcome all of you, and then we're going to actually just do some brief introductions. So, I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm Brian McCabe. I'm the trip leader. I'm a pastor at Northway. I've been on staff at Northway Christian Community for 12 years now. And this is my family, and they're going to introduce themselves in just a minute. We are so excited to be on this journey with you. Part of my role at Northway, I do some urban church planning for them. So 6 years ago, I planted Northway's location in East Liberty. And the last couple years, I've been helping a missional partnership in a neighborhood called Homewood at a church called House of Manna. So I'm kind of on loan. That's where I'm doing some of my pastoral work from Northway to the House of Manna team. And I also lead a youth mentoring program in Homewood called LAMP, which matches up adult mentors who are volunteers from Northway with kids who go to a school called Faison Elementary School in Homewood. My family lives right here. For the past 9 years, we've lived in this urban neighborhood and shared our family's life with lots of different people from the neighborhood. Always usually are people in and out of our house, and we enjoy that, or sometimes we don't enjoy it, but a lot of times we do. And I also lead at Northway the Transformational Urban Leadership Institute, which means I do local and global urban immersion trips for Northway. So I help to inspire people to get involved in God's local and global mission through lots of different ways. And I'll talk more about that at some point, but we'll go around and introduce ourselves here. And Lisa, I'll have you go last, and so you can introduce yourself and your family to kind of wrap things up. And then
Perfect.
And then you can share a little bit about your heart for this trip as well. So who wants to go next?
I'll go next. Yeah, so I'm Julie, and I'll be kind of popping in and out just because the pizza's coming up in like 2 minutes or a minute. But anyway, I've been on many trips with Brian over the years, but this will be our chance to return to Honduras. And we had an incredible opportunity last year to just fall in love with the people and the country, and just to minister and to be ministered to and to learn and grow. And there's my beeper. But anyway, I'll be back, but I don't think there's anything else to tell. It is definitely a challenge being a family on the mission trip, and we learned a lot, and it's added a lot of really cool points too. So, all right.
Who wants to go?
I can. I'm Kira. I will be 15 in a few days.
Oh, wish you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. But I don't know. I went on the Honduras trip last year, and it was a really neat experience. That was my first time out of the country, aside from going to a small island in Canada every summer. But it was a really neat experience, and I'm excited to have some more younger people on the trip, because last year it was fun, just Sierra and I and Victor and Valerie, but I think it'll be cool to have some more of the younger perspective with us on the trip. So.
Cool. All right. And this is Sierra. Go ahead, Sierra.
Hi, I'm Sierra.
Louder.
Hi, I'm Sierra. I'm going to be 13 next month. I went on the Honduras mission trip last year, and I had a lot of fun. It will be a big challenge. Like last year, it was a big challenge for me because I was having trouble because I just couldn't like interact with other people, and it was just like I'm just a kind of social person. But I think this year it'll be a lot better, like Kira said, with like having other younger kids around me too. So.
And you love Karen and Cecia.
Yeah.
And she made some friends last year that she's hoping to get to see again and spend some time with.
And we had a blast thing with our host family last year.
Definitely one of the highlights of the
trip. So, well, that's awesome. And we'll go ahead and Tracy, while you're on there, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Tracy Barbowski. I'm a middle school teacher at Dorseyville Middle School in the Fox Chapel Area School District. And I went on the trip last year and I'm returning this year because it was such a privilege to serve last year, and I wanted a repeat performance. Want to go back and serve some more. And it was, even though I've been teaching for 22 years, 23 years, the missions trip last year was the highlight of all my experiences teaching, and I'm just honored to be able to go back. So I'll look forward to spending time with all of you, and looking forward to see how the Holy Spirit moves among us. So welcome, everybody.
That's cool. Thanks, Tracy.
Good to hear from you, Tracy.
It's great to hear from you, Pastor. Right now I'm on vacation because we're a little bit needed a nice getaway before we wrap up the school year. So it's been fun.
Yeah. And like I said, thank you. So you're in New Orleans right now, right?
Yeah, we're in New Orleans. We just spent the whole day touring the French Quarter, and that was great fun. And actually, I got some hats for the Honduras trip, so I'm gonna bring them. And then we've been eating some really good food, and on Thursday we're going to go to the National World War II Museum. So that's going to be awesome.
That's really cool. Have fun.
Yeah, sounds like a
We
great
will.
All right. Well, we'll keep up with the introduction. So that's the crew that's been there. The majority of our team actually was not there last year. So everybody else, if you're feeling a little awkward, like you missed out on something, don't think that at all. We're glad that you're going for the first time this year, and it's going to be a great experience. Why don't we have Brian and Steele? Well, can you guys introduce yourselves next?
Hi, guys.
Hey there.
Brian, can you turn your microphone up a little bit? You might be, or we're having a hard time hearing you.
Last year I got married and got 2 bonus boys, one of which is Steele. His little brother Cole's downstairs playing with the puppy. But Steele and I are becoming a little bit excited about going on this trip.
Cool.
It's not something that was an easy decision. In fact, I've been considering this for a couple of years, and the way the Lord works, of course, is that finally prompted me, we'll say enough. And this is Steele.
All right. Hi, Steele. Thank you, Brian, for introducing yourself.
Of course.
Do you want to say anything, Steele?
My name's Steele. I just turned 12 in March.
What day was your birthday?
Julie asked, when is your birthday?
March 8th.
March 8th. Okay. And where do you go to school?
Leavenworth.
Okay. Well, great. And this will be your first mission trip, Steele, as well?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sierra was 12 when she went last year, and she made it through and did a great job. I think you're going to have a good time.
Definitely.
So.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for introducing yourself. Brian, what do you do for work? Can you share that a little bit with the team? Oh, sorry. We're still having some problems with your microphone, Brian. So, oh, there we go.
Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm a dentist in the North Hills.
Okay.
And I said I've been going to Northway for about 10 years.
Cool.
All right. And you go to the Wexford campus, right?
I do.
And
As you know, I went with Dad to Israel maybe 3 years ago now.
That's cool.
yeah, I did. So he knows our grandparents haven't gone to Israel, and I heard some really great stories from one of your reference checks that she shared about. She went on the trip with you, and just about what God did in your life there, and we're excited to hear more about that. For sure.
Right.
Tracy actually went on a trip to Israel as well.
Yeah, she was on the same trip.
Oh, no way!
That's great.
Yeah. Hey, Tracy, and it's your dad, right, Brian?
Yeah, that's my dad, McCabe.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years ago, we all went to Israel.
Oh.
Well, Lisa.
Small world.
Yeah, Lisa's family is really great friends with my mom and dad as well. So we'll have that
Your
connection
parents
there.
have been to Honduras.
And and my parents have actually been down to Honduras. I'm not going on this trip, but
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep. Well, good to see you guys. Why don't we, Jessica or Jess and Kelly, are you on?
Yep. Can you hear us?
We can. Yeah.
All right. So I'm Kelly. This is my wife, Jess. We're both 28. We live in the North Hills and we go to the Wexford campus. We actually met in Pittsburgh and we started going to the Oakland campus and we were baptized together there 2 years ago. So we've been in Northway for about 2 years. I'm a physical therapist up in the North Hills.
And I'm a nurse practitioner.
And we got married last August, and this is
congratulations.
Thanks. 8 months, I know, it's a big deal. So this is my first mission trip, and this is her second, so super excited. Sierra, I'm 28, but I'm still 12 up here, so we can hang out.
I went on a mission trip with my church growing up. I'm from like 2 hours north to Harmons, Jamaica. So it was a little bit different though. We built houses. So I'm excited to go on this one. And together, I think it'll be great.
Cool. What's the day of your anniversary?
The 26th of August.
Oh, okay, end of August. Okay, we were celebrating a couple anniversaries last year of people on our team.
Oh, nice.
A couple that came their anniversary while we were there, so that was cool.
And our anniversary. We spent our anniversary in Honduras. So
real romantic.
You see us eating down here, we're eating cheesecake, so sorry.
Well, that's okay. We'll be crushing some pizza here soon.
What's your name again, young man?
I'm Kelly.
All right.
So
Thanks,
Kelly and Jess, looking forward to having you on the team. And the girls were really excited. I said, there's a young married couple that's coming on the trip, and they were like, yay! So.
Oh yeah, we're really excited too.
Yeah, apparently you're going to be a lot cooler than we are as parents. So
Definitely.
Well,
great to hear from you guys.
This is our other buddy, Huck.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We don't have any kids, just a dog.
And who is that?
He wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah, it's okay. They just shed their puppy.
What's the dog's name?
Huck.
Hawk. Okay.
Oh.
Awesome. All right. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay. I'm Jeff Thomas, and I went to Northway from 1994 until 05. So I went to Northway for 11 years, and I was involved with several ministries there throughout my time there. I don't even know if any of those ministries are still around, but I was involved with Rebuilders and Alive Again. I played in the band for Alive Again and Confident Kids and, gosh, a couple others, and some of the other kids ministries as well. And I worked for the airline, and it was U.S. Airways at the time, and I was transferred to the Charlotte area in 2005, and that's how I ended up down here. My wife, Gwen, and I actually met on a single-parent family retreat that was actually sponsored by the church, and it was actually out in Jewett, Ohio at a place called Faith Ranch. And so we got married at Northway. John Size married her. in 2001. That worked out. So that's my history with Northway, and I've supported Lisa in her ministry on a monthly basis, I think since about '03, if I seem to recall. And judging from what I see here, I'm probably going to be the old man on the trip. But
not at all. We're excited to have you. We're thrilled.
I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world. Most of that courtesy of Uncle Sam, and so I'm not sure. I think I've been to all the continents except for Antarctica.
That's awesome.
I have been, as far as being in Latin America, I've been to Panama, Chile, Peru, Ecuador, and then I did a mission trip with my church down here in South Carolina in 2012 down to Honduras, and that was we actually worked with the Honduras Baptist Association and one of the local churches there that our church up here in South Carolina had partnered with.
Were you in Tegucigalpa?
We were. That's where we were at, and we actually worked with an inner city ministry there as well for underprivileged kids. So we were actually manual labor when I went there. We were actually working on building a wall at the Honduras Baptist Association campus at the time that we went down there. So and I was there for about 9 days, about the same as this trip will be. So and I have been wanting to get back to Honduras on some type of a mission trip, but between then and now, the opportunity just didn't present itself, but it opened up this year and presented itself pretty wide open. So I'm pretty convinced that this is where God wants me to be this summer. So looking forward to it, and looking forward to meeting you all. And, or as they say down here, y'all, we don't say yuns. So that's just a little bit about me. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Awesome. 1 second. Sarah wanted to show our other family member here. She's too big to pick up, though.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
Bella, say hi.
Oh,
Look at a puppy up here, too.
Bella the boxer.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name's Bella.
Aw.
Jeff, thank you for introducing yourself, and great to hear that you have some experience down there. And I'll look forward to hearing some stories that you have from Northway back in the day. I was the worship director there, and my family was so involved. So
I actually worked with your mom a little bit when the band was getting set up for Alive Again.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Hopefully she made a good impression on you. If not, I don't know her. So that's all right. So we have we've heard from our Pittsburgh contingent and South Carolina, right, Jeff?
That's right.
Okay. And we also have some of Lisa's supporters from California who are going to be joining us down there. So Carl, I'll go ahead and give you the floor.
All right. Well, it's good to meet you guys. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
All right, great. So I've got with me my youngest son, Jonathan. He'll be traveling with us. I'll let him introduce himself here in a minute. My wife will join us. She's finishing up some tutoring downstairs. She'll be going on the trip, and I'm going to hold up a picture here of the rest of my posse. Yeah, it's Jonathan fell out of his chair apparently, but my oldest is the gal on. Let's see, that would be. You're right there. Caitlin is finishing her dietetics degree in San Diego at Point Loma Nazarene University. She may or may not go with us, depending upon what her summer looks like. So she's our maybe traveler. My oldest son on the other side there is the sophomore up at Cal Poly, studying mechanical engineering, and he's going to the Middle East this summer, so he won't be joining us. My second daughter, Rebecca, is, let's see, she'll turn 18 just before the trip. She's a high school senior. She'll join us for the other trainings, but she had a commitment time. You guys, we just signed up yesterday, so we're getting our schedules in line so we can do the rest of the training. And then my youngest son, Jonathan. Wait, we have a live picture of him. There he is. Jonathan, why don't you introduce yourself, and then I'll give us a little background on our family. Scoot up close to the camera here.
All right, so I'm Jonathan. I'm 13 years old, and I've gone on several mission trips already. The first one was when I was six or seven. We went to the Navajo Reservation in New Mexico, and we visited a church there and did like a little Bible camp. And then so we went there. How many times have we gone there? 7 times. 4 summer times and 3 over Christmas. And then so I've also gone to Mexico with our church, and that was really fun. So I'm really excited for this trip.
All right, so Jonathan's he got to go on a short-term mission trip long before I ever imagined such a thing even existed. My first trip was to Mexico, and Lisa was my host. And at the risk of dating both she and I, it was in 1987. So 31 years ago, that was my first experience, and it certainly infected me to where that's been a theme for my life and a theme for our marriage for Kim and I. I took a team back there in 1991, or to Honduras in 1991, and Lisa hosted us there. So I have some trivia questions for Lisa later on because I saw there was going to be a Q&A section. So we'll test her memory on a couple of things there.
I'll be ready, girl.
All right, good. Let's see. After that, after my first experience there, I spent about 8.5 years living in an urban neighborhood in inner city Cincinnati, and participating in the inner city church there, and doing service in the community while I worked as an engineer. Got relocated to California with a job change about 15 years ago. I now work as a supply chain consultant. I've worked in supply chain for, 20-some years. Kim and I have been married 26 years. We've led trips to the Navajo Reservation that Jonathan mentioned, into Cuba. Took a team to Cuba as well. Our families, Becca's been to Rwanda a couple times. We just got back from a homeland tour to Vietnam, where I brought my boy home from 10 years ago, and that was a delight for our family.
That's amazing.
What else? We're excited to go to Honduras. One of the things we're most excited about is learning how you guys have done these trips, and see where we can learn to make trips that we might lead in the future even better. Our theme has really been to focus on taking families. Part of the reason we led trips with other members of our small group to the Navajo Reservation because it was a cross-cultural experience. It was there was not a language barrier, and it was affordable for people here to get there in a one-day drive. In addition, like anywhere, the need is tremendous. And the other thing we're curious about is to share some of our mutual experiences around urban ministry, and some of the parallels we've seen between that and the poverty that exists on the reservation, and some of those common themes. But mostly, we're going to be delighted to see Lisa and Alfredo, and my gosh, I won't believe how big Victor and Valerie will be when we get to see them. Very much looking forward to spending the time with you guys, and seeing how we gel as a team, and learn and grow.
All right. Well, that's a great introduction. Our motto, I think, for the trip, our motto for our urban ministry is fun and flexible. So, we have lots of fun, and lots of different things happen all the time. And so that email from yesterday, I thought, hey, let's be fun and flexible and see if we can do this.
we have a motto for for our trips to the res, we say we're fluid because flexible is just too rigid. Whatever your plan was this morning, it's going to be something else, right?
Totally. Yep, you go with the flow. So.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and I'll have Lisa, when you were talking about the dynamics of the trip, I'll have her actually share some of that after she introduces herself and her family. So Lisa, I'll go ahead and turn the floor over to you.
Okay. I don't know why I can't get my video working right now, but we're in San Pedro Sula right now with my husband's family because this is Holy Week. So can everyone hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So this is Holy Week here, and that means that the nation kind of shuts down and everyone,
Now we can't
so
hear.
that it's a big celebration here. And so I just got dropped off at McDonald's so that I could get on Wi-Fi.
That sounds about right.
With their grandparents right now in Alfredo, so they'll have to be presented at another meeting. But I'm so excited. I haven't seen Carl's face for so many years. Those guys are supporters, but this is the first time we've been able to really see one another live. So it's really neat to see you guys and see the new folk. And Jeff, gosh, Jeff, you're in the Carolinas. And so, again, having people who are supporters and have been partners over the years, I think it's a dream come true to be able to have you guys down here with us. So we've been here. I've been a missionary since '83, right out of college, and have been working in Latin America. I guess it's been 35 years. And got married coming up in April. It'll be 23 years. And our base of support is Pittsburgh. So the churches that support us are mostly right there in Pittsburgh, Northway, Memorial Park, and North Park Evangelical, and First Press, and Union Press in North Park. So there's that's kind of the base of support, which is a blessing that I can go back home every year with the family and see friends and supporters there and get connected. So the area of my ministry that we've been working in is Christian camping. So Christian camping has kind of been the tool that the Lord has used over the years for directly impacting kids and young people. But there's a significant amount of leadership development that happens in the local churches and parachurch ministries in order to equip them to do the camping. So my formal title is Director of Leadership Development for Christian Camping International. So a lot of my role in these last decade or so has been a lot more of equipping others and developing different layers of leadership. So we're excited that you are going to be working with leaders that we've been developing over the last few years who are doing the camping, and that allows me to assume more of a coaching and a mentoring role. So last year was our first time doing it together with Brian and his family, and we had a ball. I mean, Tracy was there, and so I really loved what he brought in order, Brian, a focus of the urban. So we partner with an urban ministry kind of throughout the year, developing their leaders so that they can do events for the children who attend their school, and they live and most of them work in a garbage dump in the area outside of Tegucigalpa. So it's a great team that we have ready to kind of join and work shoulder to shoulder for this summer event. So I guess that's kind of my intro. I should mention Victor and Valerie will be there with us, and they'll be with us the whole time that we're together. And then Alfredo will be with us as time allows. So Valerie is a graduating senior, going to be going to college in Pittsburgh, Duquesne, as a matter of fact, in the fall. And Victor is going to be graduating junior. So those guys will be with us the whole time.
That's great news, Lisa.
Awesome.
We'll to connect with them again. And how old are Victor and Valerie now? Or will they be when we come down there?
Valerie will be 18 and Victor will be just shy of, he's 16. So July 2nd is his 17th birthday.
All right. That's great. And it's cool to hear we have such an interesting mix of different people, different age groups, to some seasoned veterans, to some younger leaders, and everybody in between at different stages of life. I think that's just going to make this trip so great. And I wanted to just add to some of the overview for the trip. Some of our goals that are, when we go, we're going to be doing some things. So that's partially why we go on trips. We're going to be working with some kids whose families live and work in the municipal garbage dump there. And we will be spending some time. The ministry is called AFE. So we'll be spending several days, a significant portion of the trip, investing in a camping experience with the young people that is really an amazing experience for the young people and for us and for the leaders that we'll be working through. And so that we have that to look forward to. We'll probably be doing some work projects at the AFE urban ministry there that interacts with the kids and their families, and hopefully meeting some families. We'll go to their church and potentially and have a worship service with them. So we're going to really get to know and interact with a lot of the kids. But part of what Lisa and I do with these trips is we're going to do a lot of cultural reflection and cross-cultural ministry training. So that's a really big part of Lisa's training that she does to make these trips really interesting and really transformational for you. We also work through local leaders. So we don't just show up and say, hey, we have it all together and you don't, so receive our friendship. We really try to tread delicately and go through the leaders who have been there for a long time in the country, so that it's a great cultural experience that's empowering for the local leaders and for the families that we interact with. We also have an urban focus, and we're going to dedicate an entire day to getting to know Tegucigalpa, and that's where a lot of my training is. And we do that on purpose before we actually spend a lot of time with the young people, just so we really know the context a little bit better before we arrive there. And the world is really changing. 100 years ago, less than 8% of the world's population lived in cities. Now, more than 50% of the world's population lives in cities. And by the time our 12 and 13-year-olds are my age, in their early 40s, probably 75 to 80% of the world's population will live in cities. So part of what we do with these trips is try to prepare Christians for that reality, and how Christians, cities can be really messy places and have a lot of complex issues, but they can also be beautiful places that God utilizes for his purposes. So that's a lens we'll be bringing to the trip as well. And we want this trip to be a gift to Lisa as the receiver, and a gift to us as the goers, and also a gift to the leaders that are in place there, and the children and the families we'll be working with. And that's doesn't always happen when we do short-term mission trips, but that's our goal for this trip. More on that to come, but I just wanted to share a little bit of that context with everybody. The dates are June 19th through 27th. And Carl, I'll work with you and your family on the applications through Northway. I got to get that situated tomorrow and talk to the missions team up there, but just wanted to let you know about that. And there's some paperwork we'll have for you. I did want to pause here, though, and see, while we have Lisa on, and while we just did introductions, does anyone have any questions or comments up to this point on anything that we've talked about?
I've got one more introduction. So got one of our team members. This is my wife, Kim.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hey,
So,
Kim.
Hello. Hey, Lisa, where are you?
She's the black
my
box.
video. I'm in McDonald's and I can't get a video in here, so I don't know what's happening.
She had to go to McDonald's to get a internet connection. So she's in San Pedro Sula. We've all done introductions, but give a little background about yourself for the team. I told them you've been patiently married to me for 26 years, and we've got 4 kids. I showed the picture here, and I'll let them know who's traveling with us. But give them a little bit back.
Okay. First of all, so sorry I'm late. I was in the middle of tutoring before. I guess my first mission trip was to Honduras with my boyfriend.
Was the trip later there? Yeah.
Little extra there.
That worked out.
No, actually, I spent 6 weeks in New York City. Here's Life Inner City with Campus Crusade when I was a senior in college, after my senior year of college. And from that point, we lived in the inner city, and everything else was what Carl and I did from that point forward. So
yeah, so that's part of what brought us together, both serving in an inner city neighborhood in Cincinnati.
That's great, because we'll swap some urban ministry stories. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And my kids will too. So it's really nice to see you, and thank you for introducing yourself.
Absolutely. Sorry to come in late, so go on and do whatever you needed to do.
No problem at all. I knew it was kind of, with you guys just coming on board yesterday, it was going to be a challenge to get everyone together, so I'm glad that you were able to join.
Well, it's like 4 their time, right?
Yeah, it's 4:00 your time. So.
4:30, yeah. So
right. No pizza yet.
Any questions? Before I open it up for questions, just so you know what to expect tonight, my only goal really was to get us all together. So mission accomplished. And I'm thrilled about that. I know we're missing Rebecca and have some others that are in and out, but I'm thrilled that we were at least able to get just about everybody on board here. And just to introduce ourselves. So that mission is accomplished, and I wanted you to hear just a basic overview of the trip from myself and from Lisa. I hope you're excited. I don't want to bore everybody with details and logistical things on this first call. I want you to walk away from this first meeting feeling really excited about what God's going to do. And I'll just open it up if anyone has any second thoughts, or if you're struggling at any point time from now until June when we go on the trip, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Lisa. You can expect when you step out to take some big risks and adventure with God and his mission that you're going to meet some resistance, maybe some spiritual warfare or some doubts or things like that. So we want to pray with you as a team, and we want to be united, even though we don't all know each other very well. We want to get to know each other in these weeks leading up to our time in Honduras. My goal is for us to meet at least 3 times more, and potentially 4 times if that's needed, heading into the trip. And by meet, I know some of us may be able to meet in person here in Pittsburgh, and others will use this technology through Zoom or some other way to get you in. But I did want to pause. Does anyone have any questions for Lisa and I so far, or for anyone else that introduced themselves?
I have one comment that I want to make. One of the aspects that would be kind of a distinctive aspect of the trip is the use of host families. And for several of the nights initially, we have you guys kind of in your family group, but we have you with families that have been involved in ministry with us in Christian Camping International. So it's somewhat of a unique experience that when you guys arrive on, I think it's a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, you have the opportunity to hang out with host families. And I just talked to several of the families this week, and they're the ones that hosted, like Tracy and Brian and his family last year are into, being host families again. So it's the sense of it's deeply relational. You have the opportunity to meet real Hondurans, some of whom maybe don't speak a whole lot of English, So it's kind of fun. That's one joyful thing. Everyone breaks out their dictionary and uses their sign language, and and then it's some like 6-year-old elementary school kid who's a cousin who comes in and helps translate. So it's usually quite an interesting experience. Another unique aspect is that you will be involved with ongoing ministries, both with Christian Camping International and with AFE, the school, so that you're plugging in and you're bringing a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and engaging and kind of in a significant manner. So we don't do like a dog and pony show where you just do something that doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of usefulness, but it's something that you plug in with us, and you add a huge doses of encouragement and energy, and that I've written for over the years about how significant work teams are for us down here. So that's particularly unique. And I think another aspect that Brian was mentioning is urban. That he brings in kind of a very good focus. And then the other is that we do a lot of reflecting. A lot of it is there's time to talk and to try to expose you to experience to new things, but then we talk about maybe cultural aspects. So getting to know the culture is one of the added values, that we want you to have some sort of language to explain some of the differences. So we might take walks through a park, or we might let you loose and just kind of walk around to do observation. So we're not extremely overprotective in the sense that, we're always hovering over you. We want you to have relationships, kind of smell and see the sights. So I think that that's one more, aspect that might be unique to the way that we run the short-term trips.
Thanks, Lisa, for that. So any other quick questions? We're going to go over lots in the calls to come and things like that, but any other quick questions or thoughts?
Come on, Carl. I can see you. You got the question in your mind, dude. Let it loose
Yeah.
there.
All right, here it is. How many flat tires can a Toyota Sienna have in 10 days?
I think our record was 4. If I maybe it was 5. What was it that time? Was it?
Yeah, I think it was 11.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe that was. Well, that record has not been broken, Carl.
Okay. All right. Outstanding. Okay. Second question. This will stump you. This goes back to Kiko 10. When was the last time you drove a Willys Jeep where the gas line went into an open gas can?
Do you know that Willys car in Mexico? I went there a couple of years ago with the kids. I took Victor and Valerie, and they had it like half buried in the ground. They couldn't get rid of it. It was like the monument to a classic camp vehicle. So
Oh, that's great. That's a playground, I think.
yes, I couldn't believe that it was still there. I mean, it was amazing. That Willys is truly, it was a walking miracle.
That was a classic. That was a classic years ago.
Carl, we went on the swing. My son went on the swing, and I said, I know you remember Carl. We went out to be with him and his family, and you were only like 3. But we swung on the swing that you like risk your life to hang up in the air in that ravine. It's still there. It's
Kidding. I don't know if it's safe anymore.
Well, it was enough to get a good swing out of it there.
Well, you passed. Those are my 2 difficult questions for you.
Those were good.
Hey, Lisa, can you tell us, since we have Steele on the phone, and he's going to be 12 when we go, can you tell him a little bit about some of the fun things at your place?
You mean at our house in particular?
Yeah.
Well, Steele, we have, like, we call it a kind of a camp house, because we run maybe 5 or 6 camps a year just using our backyard. And so we have like a little pond area, and we put a slide in there, and then it has kind of this zip line that you can drop off and go kerplunk in the middle of the water. It does have a turtle there. He doesn't like people, so anytime you get in the water, he tends to hide. But we've got a great there's like a little nature walk around the yard that goes through this dense bamboo that's kind of we use for kids. You said you're 12, so we run a camp there in our houses for 8 to 12-year-olds, and they have to do a night hike alone the whole stretch of the dark hike. And so it's usually an opportunity for them to experience and face their fears and really learn to trust the Lord. So it's kind of the house is really fun in terms of all the different we have a go-kart now that my son got that we rebuilt. So it's a pretty fun place. So we're going to get to spend some time there as well after we get back from camp and all. So I think my son will have a good time showing you all the stuff. And the trampoline is really nice too. So I think you'll enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's legit. Just to highlight that, she said trampoline, she said go-karts, she said water slide, and she said
and there's a mountain biking trail that my son so he's got like these whoops and different jumps and everything and drops that we built around the property just to kind of make it fun for him and his buddies to bike around.
How old's your boy, Lise?
He's 16.
Cool.
And then we have a lot of fun with the kids at camp as well. From AFE, when we go for the 3 days, they just have a blast, and all of us will be playing some games. What kind of games we did last year? Do you remember, Kira?
Oh, we did lots of things. We had some slime was involved. Yep, and that was fun. The kids had never seen it before. Or
they called it moko, which means mucus, snot. They called it snot.
But there was lots of fun stuff we did with the kids. It's really cool because you have translators, so you can kind of talk to them. And it's not like it gets super deep, but you definitely do get to know a lot of different kids, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and besides the fun, we had, I think 8 or 9. How many kids raised their hand last year? We had 9 last year who became followers of Jesus at the camp. It was so there's a Bible study that happens, and we really Lisa's team does a great job of working with the kids to help them through some spiritual strongholds that they have. And so yes, we're going to have a lot of fun, but it has a great purpose as well. And so it's going to be great to be a part of that. Looking forward to seeing what God does.
They also do some crafting with the kids, and both the guys and the girls got involved. We were surprised, but everybody wanted to be participating. That's partially because Tracy, being a teacher, was like brilliant with some of the crafts she brought. But anyway, that'll be part of our team's responsibilities is, if we do that again, to bring assorted crafts and do an event
games
with the kids. Yeah, and we will be the ones, at least according to last year, if we follow the same principle, we'll be the one that runs one of the big games then during that time. So.
We also had an additional bonus that was kind of special. There's a ministry by an eye doctor that has a vision for equipping ministries around the world. And so he sent us down with like 2 suitcases of like 600 pairs of reading glasses. And there's a medical clinic in the school, AFE. And so we were able to train the doctors and the nurses there at this clinic and then give them a good supply of eyeglasses. And I was talking to the director the other day, and she said, Lisa, if this team's coming down, can they bring more glasses? Because it has been a boom, and the number of kids that, can now have great reading glasses and all. And I have this picture of this one lady who they were teaching this medical staff and saying, hey, she's like, oh, I don't need glasses. And so they're like, no, but just let us, test you so that you can try this out. They were really training the nurse and the doctor. So I'm videoing it. And this lady, they put these glasses on after they measured her. And she had this look of expression. She was like, whoa, I've never seen that before. So that wasn't even, supposedly part of the trip. But we were able to see just the cool thing that, they were able to just give people reading glasses, some who have never really realized that they needed them. So that was an extra bonus.
Yeah, and so that if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't know any of those things that they said, I don't know where I fit in. Again, don't be discouraged. Lisa and I would love to work with you. That glasses thing is an example that was unexpected last year that ended up being a huge blessing, and who knows what God's going to do this year. So excited to figuring out as our team gets together what your gifts are and your talents and what you bring to the table and what you offer and how we can get you plugged in. So it's great. Any other questions? Any other Q&A for Lisa or I or anyone else in the group? All right. Well, we're going to have more time for Q&A in our other team meetings. And I know, again, I'm not going to draw this out too long. So I said I wanted everybody to be excited and hear more about the trip, and hopefully you are. And then I'm not going to try to have too much of a wet blanket with other details, but here they come. So I'll try to make this as painless as possible. The first thing is the forms. So one of the first things that I'm supposed to do with you, and I'm actually going to share my screen here real quick, is to get this form filled out. And if you can see it, it's called the Northway Christian Community Short-Term Mission Trip Participant Agreement. And so what I'm asking you to do, not tonight, but when I email this to you, I may have already emailed it, or Janine may have emailed it, but just make sure you do read through it before you go, just so you're on the same page about the expectations. This trip form was made. You're going to laugh when you read through it, because every single bullet point on there, probably at some point or another, somebody on some short-term mission trip somewhere did that thing that caused us to have the rule. So if you're wondering, like, isn't this kind of overkill? Why did they have that rule? It probably really happened. And so that's why we have it. But we don't want to, again, bog the trip down with a bunch of rules. But do make sure that you read through it. Number 7 is just, I'm not going to read through all the points, but it says on there, it talks about, I agree to fulfill all assignments and attend all meetings scheduled by my team leader, both prior to, during, and after my mission trip, unless I am excused by my mission trip leader due to illness. So I just am highlighting that one just to say, please do your best. I'm going to do my best to schedule the meeting times, and Lisa suggested this app called Doodle that I'm going to try to use instead of doing reply alls on the emails. I'm going to try to organize us that way around some of the times. But please do your best to join as much as you can. That'll really help our team to bond. And as you'll see, I would almost rather reschedule the meeting if everybody cannot make it, to find a time when everybody can. So again, whether that's virtually through Zoom or hopefully as much in person as we can, that'll be important for us. Each of the meetings will be different, and we'll have different things that we go over. Number 8, I understand that should I become unable to attend a meeting, I must inform the mission trip leader. If I become ill during the mission trip, then I need to report my illness to the mission trip leader immediately. And there's a lot. You can read through that whole one yourself. But the main thing I wanted to highlight about that one is the importance of communication. So from here on out, and it's not that anybody's done a bad job of communicating so far, but if you could just communicate with me before the trip, while we're there at the trip, and then afterwards, but especially while we're at the trip and beforehand, just shoot me an email, text message, any way that is easiest for you to try to communicate with me is really helpful for me. You can also copy Lisa as well, since she's going to be kind of coordinating from different places and different states to get down there. You can copy her as well. Number 11 on that form, I understand the guidelines for funding my mission trip. I stated in the short-term mission trip funding and conduct policies, document and agree to abide by those guidelines, as well as meet all financial deadlines. I understand that my failure to do so may result in my disqualification from participating in the trip. I only read that one out, number 11 there, because we're going to be starting fundraising. And I had sent out, Carl, your family doesn't have the link yet for the account for Northway. I'll connect with you privately over the next couple of days to get that set up. But you'll have an account at Northway that you will be raising money for. Some of you may be paying for this personally out of your own pocket, and this is not going to be a big deal for you, and you can just fill up the account. And you'll be good to go. Others of you, this is a huge step of faith, and you don't know where the money is going to come from, and it's the first time you've done something like this. And so we want to work with you as well, and then everybody in between. God provides. We serve the God of the universe, and he prompted you to go, so I think God will come through. We did some team fundraisers last year, and we're able to raise some money. There's no longer a car cruise, which is where we did our team funder last year, so we may have to get creative and do some different team fundraising activities. But the biggest way that you'll raise money is by sending out the fundraising support letters via email, via snail mail, via social media, however you can get the word out. Print them out and take them to your local church and give them to your friends and hit up everybody that you know to support you, not because you're guilting or shaming them for not going on the trip, but because they are an equal participant in praying for you and financially supporting you in this opportunity to be a part of God's mission. So they have an integral role. It's actually an act of obedience for God's church to send people out on missions. And so by not asking the people who are followers of Jesus to support you, you're actually kind of robbing them of their opportunity to participate in missions through giving financially and through praying. So I have that form letter that I can send to you. I think I may have already sent it out, but just wanted you to be aware of it. And then Deneen Henderson is the administrative support person at Northway Christian Community. She handles all of the short-term trip logistics for all of the trips that go out year-round. And if you've had any interactions with Deneen so far, you know that she's super organized and she'll be on it. She will contact you if you're missing forms. She'll harass me to contact you to get her the missing form. She will go to great lengths to make sure that our team is super organized. And but just wanted to make sure you were aware of the fundraising. So at this point, make sure I'm actually going to scroll down here. So when you get this form, you're going to sign it, and then you have to actually mail the copy into Northway. When I email the form to you, I'll put the address that it goes to. And again, even if you're in California or South Carolina, it's good for Northway just to have this form on deck with them, since they're helping us to kind of organize the trip. So please make sure that you read through it. There are some things in there that, again, they seem kind of obvious, like you're not going to go down to Honduras and get into a whole bunch of drugs and pass out on the beach or something like that. But again, there's a story behind each one of them. So, okay.
You'll have to tell us sometime, Brian.
I've seen a lot over the years. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing that screen there, and I'll bring you back in here. The other thing is your clearances. So for the out-of-state people, I'll really need you to coordinate with Deneen. I'm not sure what all the logistics are on that, but hopefully she can answer those questions for you individually. Jeff, I think she may have already had a back and forth with her.
Doesn't Jeff have like top secret security clearance? Like he's way over, so we can you could tell us.
I thought I was just sending that to Brian. I didn't realize that.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I maybe I blew the whistle, but I was pretty impressed with that dude. I was like, whoa, he's got 57 different vaccinations, and he's set and ready to go, man.
I'm embarrassed now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Actually, I don't really embarrass that easily, but okay.
No, I'm impressed.
But yeah, so Deneen can help with that, and then but if Northway seems a little bit like, oh, why do we have to do this within the last year, or I don't know if it's within a year or 2 years. Obviously, in Pennsylvania with all the child molestation stuff and things like that, for churches and nonprofits, the rules are super strict for that. So it's unfortunately a lot of hoops we got to jump through, but it's not too bad. So Deneen will walk us through those clearances that we need. And then Lisa, I know last year it's like, if you look at the government website on the vaccinations, it's like you need 47,000 of them, and you're going to catch every known disease when you come down to Honduras. And then really you're like, well, you don't really need any of them based on where we're going to be. So can you share, Lisa, just a little bit about that?
We're going to be in the capital city, Tegucigalpa, and where we go, even when we're in the garbage dump, we're not working there per se. I mean, we do give out some water and snacks and stuff, but we're not in like a jungly area where you would sense that there's a more prevalent like malaria and stuff like that. So we generally have, other than a tetanus shot, sometimes they're asking for the hepatitis, I'm not sure, ABC or one of those, but for the most part, if your tetanus shot is up to date, that's the main thing. If you step on a rusty nail or something. So those are that's the main one that we would encourage everyone to have their tetanus up to date. But the other ones, it's really something that we haven't run into anyone that we're even working with, because we're in kind of a cosmopolitan situation.
All right. So if you have any specific questions about that, you can contact myself or Lisa, and we'll be happy to answer any of those, especially Lisa. You can go to her for things like that. So the other forms that are due, we talked about the participant agreement, which I just showed you, and which you'll be getting to sign and mail into Northway. The other forms that are due, so most of you have your mission trip application forms in. Again, Carl and family, I'll work with you on that over the next couple of days to get that. I'd have to get that open back up again for you, but we'll make it happen. Release and disclaimer of liability form, emergency medical care authorization, and of course those background checks and child abuse clearances. And that's it. And Deneen Henderson emailed those forms out in an attachment whenever, I think it must have been about 2 weeks ago. So be on the lookout for those. All right, that was enough about the forms. We can work through some of those. We talked about fundraising. So the main thing is getting your Northway account set up and getting your fundraising letters out as soon as possible. The reason why that's important is that we cannot purchase our flights for the team, especially the Pittsburgh team, until we have half of your money in the account for the trip. So we want to try to jump on fundraising as fast as we can and get a good start right out of the gate so that we can purchase our airline tickets. Again, Carl, we'll work with you and your family separately on the airline tickets, since obviously I don't think you're going to fly to Pittsburgh and then down with us. So we'll sort that out. And Jeff, I know you have, we'll work with you on your situation as well. But for the Pittsburgh team, we want to try to purchase our plane tickets together, and that way we'll be able to get a better deal and all be sitting together on the flights and things like that. So fundraising, our first goal is to get halfway there in our account. And then, so if you have that and you're planning to pay out of your pocket for the trip or whatever, then you can go ahead, if you could at least put half of it in, which would be $1,000 for again, that includes the air flight. So Carl and Jeff, yours might be a little different if you're flying separately. But that's the price for the Pittsburgh team. Just looking through my notes here, want to make sure I get everything covered. So your prayer team, I just want to encourage you that each of you should have some people that you approach about joining your prayer team, people who can pray for you, pray with you, that you can send specific prayer requests to. So these might be people that you ask for financial support, but they could be people from your school. They could be relatives. They could be good friends or coworkers, but people that you know and trust. And I'm not talking about the type of person that says, hey, I'll pray for you, and then you know they're definitely not praying for you. I'm talking about real, legitimate, like I would go to battle with this person right side by side with me type of people in your life. And please have them start praying now, because with the nature of doing global missions, the enemy uses fear, he uses confusion, he uses all kinds of tactics, discouragement, and all kinds of different things to come up against the mission team. So we want to be prayed up. We want to pray against those things and pray for God's covering over us as we go forward here. So, and again, with that being said, if you're going through anything unusual, like you're feeling like life just is not going well for you and you're meeting some resistance, some of you might be really familiar with spiritual warfare. And so you know right what it is right away and you can address it. But if you're feeling, like you don't know what to do, please reach out to me. That's my favorite thing to do as a pastor. I would love to pray with you about whatever it is specifically. I know Lisa would as well. So we can all work together to get everybody there. All right, the last thing I have, and I'm going to let everybody go, is I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming meeting times. So I don't think we're going to resolve this on the phone or in the Zoom room right now. But some of us the dates that I threw out were some Saturday, Sunday options, April 14th and 15th, May 12th and 13th, June 9th and 10th, and I might even, depending on how we're doing as a team, I might want to squeeze one more in on the weekend of June 16th, 17th, if I feel like we need 4 meetings to get ready for the trip. So that being said, some of the folks that I've heard back from have said that they cannot do Saturday mornings at all, which was the time I proposed. My time was 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then some people can do Saturday mornings. Some people can do Sundays with the time that I threw out, which would have been Sunday afternoon, my time in Pittsburgh. But that time might not work for other people, especially if you're on the West Coast or some other parts, or Lisa's family, who are 2 or 3 hours behind the Pittsburgh time. So I'm not married to any of those dates or anything like that. That was my first attempt to kind of throw it out there and get us on the same page. So what I know I'll do for sure is I'll get either a doodle poll, that app I was telling you about, and you'll get an email from me with some time suggestions, and I might ask Lisa to help me with that, or Deneen or somebody, if I can't figure it out on my own. But otherwise, so we can all reply to that and then come up with some of those dates. Does anybody know, are any of those weekends that I mentioned really bad for you? Like, you're going to be out of town, or?
The only one, Brian, that you mentioned is the possibility of the June 16th. We've got my youngest daughter is graduating, and we've got a lot of family in that weekend. The rest of them are good, and Saturday or Sunday, any of those times. The 7 a.m. start here is fine on that Saturday. So if that works for everybody else, we're good with that.
I have the same conflict as Carl on the June 16th. Valerie's graduating too, so
okay.
That weekend is pretty tough.
I'll just cross that one out. Sounds like a good idea.
When you have the trip leader person not able to do it, that's a problem.
Okay, so thanks, Carl, and so Carl and Lisa. If we did Sunday, but maybe a little bit later in the day for us here in Pittsburgh, would that work okay for you if we did that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Sundays. I'm sorry. Sundays are fine by me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, any time Sunday is fine with us. We can work with that. When you said, what do you mean later?
Well, he said later in the day, so that would be
Later
better for us.
Later than 9:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, any time we'll work it out.
Okay. All right. Appreciate your flexibility on that. How about others on the team? How do Sundays look for you?
Yeah, Brian, I'm required to work 2 Saturdays every month. And I know my April schedule. I am available the 14th if that's the day on, if it has to be on a Saturday, but Sundays for the both of us, we're always open at any time. But it looks like the 14th of April on that Saturday, I could make it.
When he works until like noon, but we can do the 14th of April or the 15th, either one. And then all those other dates, Sundays work, or I can do Saturday and just relay the information, whatever.
Hey, Brian, Kim just pointed out to me that the 13th of May is Mother's Day.
Oh, okay. All right. Good call.
Hey, you know, I didn't catch it.
Yeah, you can tell there's a male planning the dates for sure.
I'm with you, brother. No,
Brian, how about you and Steele?
I'm going to see what the majority of the try to conform to that. Of the 2 days, Sunday's probably.
Sunday's probably best or worst? I didn't catch the last part.
Sorry. Of the 2 days, Saturday or Sunday, Sunday probably works better for us.
Okay. All right. And Tracy, how about you?
Yeah, Sunday, either day works for me, but Sunday is okay. That works. Okay. I'm equal opportunity.
So maybe I'll send out that poll and we'll try to land on a date. But for now, I mean, it sounds like I might even be able to nail down April 15th. That's a Sunday.
Okay.
And that'll be our next team meeting. And then I'll poll everybody. So obviously we won't meet on Mother's Day, but we'll maybe that will work on Saturday that day, that weekend, or change to a different weekend. So, but I don't want to hold everybody up now. This is good if we have April 15th. What would be the best time on April 15th for everybody on Sunday, April 15th?
Well, I'll throw my 2 cents in. Early afternoon works for me because I can actually catch a flight up there Sunday morning and then still catch a flight back Sunday evening. So the times I think you were suggesting was like 12 to 3 or 1 to 4 or something like that can work for me. And of course, we always have the technology that we're using right now. But I definitely, I want to get it there at least for one meeting to be able to, kind of meet and greet and see everybody in person.
Sure. Yeah.
12 to 3 would work for us. So the 15th is our last Marriage Matters class from 5 to 7.
Okay.
So that's
early afternoon would be fine.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just have to be to Northway by 5 for our last class.
Okay. So 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Is that the date I threw out? Is that the time I put in the email? I'm trying to remember if I said 1 to 4 or 12:30.
Yeah, you said 12:30.
Okay.
Yeah, that can work for us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't want to cause you to skip church
for me.
I mean, we've got options on Saturday night too, so a lot of flexibility.
All right. So I'll come up with a location here in Pittsburgh. We may do it up in, I think most of our attendees here in Pittsburgh are in Northway, Wexford, so we may just meet up there in the North Hills if that's easiest for everybody.
That would be great.
Okay. So why don't we plan on that? Northway, Wexford on April 15th, Sunday from 12:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. And Lisa, I haven't heard from, you don't have to join all the other team meetings if you don't want, Lisa, but at least you'll know about it if you want to join us. So.
Will you be in one place or meeting? Or are you going to be doing stuff, or you can just let me know the details then, and then I'll just plug in whenever you guys are, okay. It would be appropriate, but yeah, I'd love to be there, and you just let me know what time and everything. And
okay.
If you're in one spot.
So Brian, we'll join by this kind of screen share again.
Yep, I'll send out a Zoom invitation if this technology worked well for everybody. then I'll set up another Zoom room, and everybody else will be at Northway Wexford, kind of in person. So I'll find a room where we can have some peace and quiet, and we can Zoom you in, and go from there.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Any other
That
questions?
sounds great.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. And again, please check in with Deneen Henderson about any of your forms. Make sure she gets a copy of your passport info and a lot of that stuff. But I'll communicate that stuff via email or contact you individually. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on April 15th. Should be a
Okay,
good time.
sounds great.
I'll have some
Good job.
Thank you.
Lisa, do you want to close us in prayer?
Alrighty, dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the opportunity to interface in this marvelous technology, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity that we have to join in your mission. Keep us aware of the privilege of being co-participants in your kingdom work. Thank you for the joy of meeting and being able to do it with people that many of whom we love and others whom we'll warmly embrace and bring into the family, Lord. And we pray for you to prepare the hearts of the Hondurans with whom we'll be interacting. And just thank you that the logistics, Lord, we pray that they'll have their place, but that you can keep our hearts on fire for you and your mission in this world, Lord. We thank you once again, and we pray in Jesus' name. And everyone said,
Amen.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Hopefully my video will be better next time and you guys can see
Yeah,
me.
All right.
So
All
good
right,
to see you,
bye.
houses. I'm so psyched, man.
Oh, we're looking forward to seeing you.
It's gonna be awesome.
All
Looking
right.
forward to
Say
it.
hi to Rogelio
Amen.
and Sylvia.
Perfect. You betcha. I will.
All right,
Absolutely.
good.
I'll tell you still own the Lempita there, dude.
Yeah, I've got 2 Lempitter, and I'm going to bring those for him.
Please bring those there. Good to see you too, Jeff.
You too.
Nice to meet
Okay.
you there, Brian and Steele.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to this.
It's gonna be great. Are you spying out the land for the rest of your family?
I am.
Good man. Good man.
Yes.
You know
All
the
right.
deal. Take care, Brian and Steele. And
Bye.
Bye,
you,
everybody.
Trace. Take care
Bye.
now.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, Brian, you still there, dude?